There comes a time when you have to confront authority. I'm going to go over 8 different times that I confronted authority, even though I was raised to always respect authority. And I have tried my best not to be argumentative and not to be a problem for people. But there are times you must confront authority. And I want to give you these examples because I think there's some times in your life when you're going to go back and forth in deciding whether you should take a stand and just say yes or no or stop or whatever it is that you need to say. Okay, number 1. I was raped when I was 15 years old. I told my parents about it. I was impregnated, and they both said I lied. I never lied to my parents. So I took a stand. I said, no, I did not lie. I never lied. And I continuously said that. But when they sent me to a nunnery, Sister Superiors questioned me forever, and so did the priest. And they both told my parents, no, she did not lie. She told you the truth. The girls there said the same things to the nuns. And later in life, after my mother died, who did not want me in the first place, my father was apologetic. So taking that stand was really important, because if I'd said, okay, you guys are okay, he never would have known that I did not lie. Number 2, I was 15 then. At the age of 19, I'm saying the age because I'm kind of interested in why it seems like every sort of about 10 years, this comes up in your life. And I want you to keep note of that in case you want to look back and go, why does this happen every 10 years? Anyway, 19. My child had a heart attack. This was my second child. She was 4.5 pounds, and at 4 pounds, 13 ounces, I had her laying on the bed, and I called on the phone and I said, I'll be right there with the emergency room. Please be prepared for an incredibly small infant who is in big trouble. And they said, oh, well, have you taken her temperature? You know, they started really talking down to me. And I said, I'm coming with my daughter. And I slammed the phone down. And I went. And it turned out that when I got there, the doctor took one look at her, saw what I saw, which was this discoloration around her eyes. The rest of her face was just incredibly red. Her whole body was red, and she was jerking like this. He took her heartbeat, and it was 225 times a minute. He said she was having a heart attack. They eventually discovered she had 3 holes in her heart, which is not unusual. That kind of thing does happen when children are first born, and they usually close up. Fortunately, it was a 4.5-year process, but she did have the holes close up. And as far as I know, she's had no other problems with that. She might be keeping something from me, but who knows. When I was about 29, I was wearing a POW, prisoner of war bracelet at my job. I was a sole support of a family of 6, 4 children, 2 mine, 2 his, and him. He was a student. And the boss said I had to take off the bracelet because I had a rash on my arm from the bracelet. And he felt that it was inappropriate for me serving cocktails with a rash. And I explained to him, I said, no, I can't. And he said, I said I'd fire you. And I said, I know you did, but I can't. I'm a military dependent. All my childhood, I just can't do it. I have to keep looking at this and sending energy, my prayers, that this man comes home. And he surprised me. He backed off. He was a very arrogant, incredibly good looking, and women were always throwing themselves at him, and I obviously didn't. But he backed off. I could not believe it. I did not lose my job. So when I was about 39, I had taken a strong stand for my earth-centered faith, and some people had threatened me. I was getting about 3 death threats a month, mostly on the telephone. People, I never did have, I got texts or telephone messages. We didn't have social media then. This was, my daughter was in 1966, I should have told you that. The rape was in 1962, and the bracelet, I'm not sure what year that was, but the faith was about 1992. Then I had another issue when I was about 49, another 10 years forward. I was absolutely convinced that I could finish a PhD. I was told by my mother I'd never amount to anything. My father was less negative, but they really believed that being a girl, I couldn't really do it. So I went to school at 49, and of course the professor said the same thing. He said, I don't think so. But I did. I entered school and I finished at 63 with a 3.9 GPA out of 4. So I did it. And that was for my inner child. And then the next one was when I was 69. I moved away from our dream house. My husband and I talked it over for a long time because we thought for 30 years. And we built it. It was an Eco-Hobbit house. We loved it. Oh, we just adored it. But the land was leased, and the person who leased the land was a narcissist, and it was an impossible situation. And we made the choice to move away. And so at 79, I am in the most beautiful rental farm I could ever imagine. It's everything I ever dreamed of for our retirement. And my husband is still alive, which I can't believe. And so I'd like to go over this again. When someone is questioning your honesty, that's a really good time to take a stand. When someone is threatening your child's health or whatever, anything threatening your child, take a stand. When someone is insulting your family values, take a stand. If your inner child has been harmed and you've not healed it, take a stand. If I knew, I think I made a mistake. 59, I didn't tell you that one. At 59, we knew there was climate change. And so we made a move from the United States to Mexico. And it was a perfect decision. We shared our nonprofit dream with all kinds of people. So it's kind of a blend of your career and your knowing something, climate change. We knew that for sure. My husband's health. Always stick up for your spouse. Whatever your spouse needs, that's really important. And the last one was our retirement dreams. So there's 8 different ways that I've explained to you that taking a stand is it's not a negative thing to do. You need to do it. Now, if you have a question for me, you can do that down below, or you can wait till the end of this video and I will have the information for my SKOOL. I have a doctorate in special education, and I've taught that for years. I have been an earth-centered religious leader, and had all kinds of conferences and all kinds of training and counseling for about 40 years, yeah. And I'm happy to talk to you in my school about anything you want to talk about. I am open for meetings 4 days a week. It's listed there. You go there for free, you register, and check the calendar and see which one of the meetings you can make. They're all free and sponsored by my nonprofit. So I'd love to see you there if you'd like to come. Thank you for being here today.